some people come in. Guys, it is March 30th, 2024, Saturday, 7:56 a.m. Good morning, Kristen. Good morning, Ginger. Good morning, Michael. Hope you guys are doing good. It's early. What's up, Gypsy? What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are all having a fantastic weekend so far. Michael, what's going on? Gypsy, Kristen, Kason, hope you're doing good. Lisa, hope you're doing well. Guys, we got a lot to talk about here this morning. We're going to be talking about Riley Strain, an update on that case. Thank you, Ginger. Diddy, we're going to give you an update on Diddy. It may have changed my opinion on Diddy, so we're going to talk about Diddy a little bit. New York serial puncher, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. Sebastian Rogers, got an update there. We also may have an update on Amanda. We'll talk about that. Dude in a scream mask running around trying to kill people. Was good, it was good, it wasn't me. And a YouTube star kidnapped because he decided to take his punk ass over to Haiti. What's up, Jackie? How you doing? Guys, we got a lot to talk about here today. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday. I don't expect a big crowd this morning. Motherfuckers like to sleep in on Saturdays. I'm not one of them. So, it wasn't me. Exactly. Let me give a shout out to Kathy and Axel who sent $2.69 to the tip jar. Said we always need a 69 to start the day. I know that's right. It's Mr. Hitler's birthday tomorrow. We all hope Amy and her grandson is okay. They are. They're recovering. Tell Mr. Hitler I said happy birthday. Thank you guys so much. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Hopefully you guys are having a relaxing weekend. I know. Today is my Monday. While this is y'all Saturday, this is my Monday because my weekend is on Thursdays and Fridays. So I'm just coming off a 2-day off period, obviously. We had a good week last week on all the channels, busted our ass, and this week was going to be no different, as we will be live on this channel from 8 to 10. We will be live on the JB Gunner Show from 11 to 1. We will be live on the gaming channel from 2 to 4. We will be live at the amusement parks from 6 to 8. We will be live on the wrestling podcast channel from 10 to 11 tonight. So, as you see, and that schedule will pretty much be every day this week till next Thursday. What's up, Sean? How you doing, brother? He says, from the UK, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing all right. I forgot this is early morning for us, but for y'all in the UK, what is it like? What is it in the UK? It's like 11 or noon over there? Maybe? I don't know. I don't really, I don't drink much tea and shit. So I don't really know, but I assume you guys are a few hours ahead of us. Ginger says, not me, I had to make that triple chocolate cake. It is chocolate cake, chocolate pudding, and chocolate. That's too much goddamn chocolate. I'm racist with my snacks. I like vanilla. Wait, you know that would probably actually surprise you. 12 o'clock coffee time. There you go. You guys drink coffee over there? I didn't even know that. Anyways, damn. Nah, man, you would be surprised to know I don't eat sweets. Like, I never have been a big sweets guy. All my entire belly is beer and meat. You know what I'm saying? Like, and potatoes. Not a big sweets guy. Never have been, to be perfectly honest. Never have been much of a big sweets guy. Guys, we do got an interesting story to start off. One bite because it sounds so incredible, but rich. Yeah, nah, man. I couldn't do it. That shit would make me, but sweets wise, the only sweets I like is like fruit candy, like Now and Laters or Starburst or some shit. And I like ice cream. Ice cream is I like ice cream. You know what I mean? A good milkshake or something. But I typically don't do sweets. It's just never been my thing. Maybe it's because I drink so much. I get enough sugar into my body, but I've never been the type that, gets into sweets. The only sugar or sugary thing I probably have all day is a sweetener I put in my coffee. No, he had his meats too. I made homemade steak wrapped in bacon. He had a tiny piece. We made a tiny piece. It's a grown-ass man. What the fuck you giving him a tiny piece of meat for? You know what I'm saying? Instead of a tiny piece. I'll fuck around and divorce you. No bullshit. Here's a tiny piece of meat, JB. Get your ass out my house. You know what I'm saying? Get your ass out of here. But that's just me. Tiny piece of cake. Yeah, nah, fuck that. Yeah. I hear you there. I thought you meant a tiny piece of steak with the bacon. I was like, shit. But anyways, guys, I'm going to start off with an update on something. And I don't know how accurate this is. Give me a meat stick. I mean, BJ. I hear you, girl. I hear you, girl. I hear you, girl. I'm getting old. So my shit isn't quite a stick anymore. It just hides away. It just hides. It takes some extra extravagant shit to get me excited these days. I drink too much. I'm getting too old. I've noticed that. Like the same chase that I used to have for like broads and women, I don't have anymore. I don't know what the fuck changed it. Maybe I've just gotten mature. Maybe I've had too much. But you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. The chick's got to show me something spectacular. You know what I'm saying? To get me worked up. Because I'd rather do about 10 other things. But, guys, I'm going to start off with something. I'm going to say, what you say? A little extravagant. No, they do. I'm not like, a lot of these dudes run around like a dog with the pink thing hanging out. And I'm just like, man, pussy stopped being new to me at age 15. I'd already been banging for 3 years. And to be perfectly honest, I think as men, we get excited for the new one, like the new trophy. But once you're like banging the same chick for a while, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. But anyways, guys, I want to show you something. I don't know how accurate this is. I genuinely don't. Because I'm not a Gray Hughes investigates guy. I never have been. I've watched him a couple of times. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Gray Hughes has one of those personalities that you either love or you want. He's kind of like myself, to be honest. He seems like the grumpy old man. He's one of them people that talk real jazzy that you kind of just like, I kind of want to punch him in the face. You know what I mean? But you know that you're also grown up and you shouldn't do that. So he's one of those personalities. So I'm not a big fan of his work, but I will say this. When it comes to being accurate, when it comes to giving accurate information, I think Gray Hughes is great at that. I will give him credit for that. So here's what we got on Gray Hughes community tab. Someone directed me to this morning. It says, the sister of Amanda Ninniger. Now, if you don't remember who Amanda Ninniger is, Amanda Ninniger is the chick we did a story on the other day, where she got lost in the Arizona desert. Or was it California desert? I don't remember. But it's right there on the, North Nevada. I don't know. But she got lost in the desert. She called 911 saying she was lost, and then she disappeared. Well, if you Google it and you look at the news regarding her, there's still no updates. But apparently, Gray Hughes has talked to the sister of Amanda Ninniger, and he told me that they found Amanda's body very near her last coordinates. That's crazy to me. Should have been found a long time ago. She was naked and partially decomposed. But look how close to the last coordinates she was. What a joke. You see how he talks, whatever. I don't think Gray really understands, maybe he does, that in the desert, Unless you're just going to send search teams out into the desert in all directions, the desert is horribly huge. Like anyone that's ever hiked on the Pacific Crest Trail through the 700 miles of desert that you got to hike through from San Diego, going upward through California, blah, blah, blah. Anyone that's ever hiked in the desert will tell you, coyotes, it's a good point as well. They probably ripped the clothes off. They probably ripped, dragged her, whatever the case may be. But anyone that's ever hiked in that desert or in any desert or in any, they know that's why they tell you to take so much water. Because the trail markers are bad. B, it's easy to lose direction when you're out there. And then C, just the overall wildlife, coyotes, all that stuff. You know what I mean? There's so much shit out there. Like, it's not this assumption that police are supposed to immediately be able to find a body, that the police are supposed to be able to, this is an expectation that I think the community has, that police are supposed to immediately be able to find someone that's missing or dead, particularly in the goddamn desert. I think is a ridiculous expectation. You got to understand, the police are just like you and me. You understand? They're not anything any more special or any more, any more expertise. There's nothing like that. In fact, in some cities and states, you can't have above a certain IQ to be a cop. You got to have a lower IQ than your average person, and there's a reason for that. It's because lower IQ people take orders better. That's why they want lower IQ people in the military, on the police force. They typically want you to be able to take orders. Higher IQ people tend to be more of a leader type individual. The desert is hot, dry, and there's a lot of it. Exactly, Jackie. 100%. That's exactly right. Birds of prey out there are nasty too. Yeah. What's up, Ruby? So when you look at this, it's not far. It's not far, the location. All right, so let's take a look at this. The first call right here, as you can see, let me. The car location is right here, okay? The 911 call. So clearly she started walking over these mountains. Remember, these are fucking mountains. The 911 call was there, and then her body coordinates apparently are right here. As you can see by looking at the mountains, these are valleys down here. This belief that, in this giant wilderness of mountains, rugged terrain, desert, valleys, this is where I think Gray Hughes and I think the internet in general, I think they just expect too much. I hope that's not her, but if her sister said it was her, even though the news hasn't caught on yet, chances are it's her, right? We question things too, JB. The lower IQ don't ask questions, 100%. No, that's exactly why they want it that way. That's exactly why they want it. They want people to take orders. But I do just want to say this, is that in general, I think people are a little hard on law enforcement. They can only do so much. They're not fucking supermen. And this expectation that their job is just going to be done perfectly. All I will ask you is, do you do your job perfectly? Any of you. I know I'm great at my job, and I'll fuck up at my job all the time. And there's plenty of times I sit here and fuck up. You know what I mean? And so I don't know, man. Just this expectation that they're just supposed to immediately be able to detect some body missing in the desert. And I still think they did it pretty quickly. A couple of weeks. Yes, it's going to be deteriorated. Now, I guess my question would be, where do you think the clothes went? Now, I'm going to ask this because we're going to eventually go into the Riley strain update. And I think that in the desert situation with Amanda, I think obviously we have a situation where wildlife probably stripped off her clothes. Or with it being so hot in the desert, Now, granted, it's cold at night. Is it possible that Amanda stripped herself because she was dehydrated and maybe thirsty? Because when you start to die in the desert, or when you're going through what she was probably going through in that desert, you begin to hallucinate as well. So not only is she dehydrating, she's in the desert. I think it's very possible. And I'll give you an example to this. Anyone that knows anything about Mount Everest, right? The people, once they reach the death zone in Mount Everest, and this is above like 28,000 feet, some shit like that, 25,000 feet. Anyways, it begins to cause them to go delusional. So even though they're in the death zone, freezing, plus over 25,000 feet, these people begin to strip off their clothes. Once you are in that situation where you're delusional, you're hallucinating, your mind's gone, one of the common things, whether we're talking about Mount Everest, whether we're talking about people that's been stranded at sea, on a boat, whether we're talking about they get hot, but also they get delusional. And one of those things, once you're delusional or hallucinating, you guys ever been high on anything? Now me, I don't do I've never done your typical hard drugs like a lot of you guys have, but I've tripped on acid before, or ate mushrooms before. And I don't know about you, but there's times I've been hallucinating and been like, oh, shit, get this shit off of me. You know what I mean? And so, in my opinion, and there's plenty of times when I've been hiking, when I've been through hiking, I've been in the middle of the summer in the Appalachians, which isn't even as hot as the desert. And I've always got to, I believe that it's easier to get warm than it is to get cool. Because anyone that's ever hiked in the summer, in the mountains, and you get into that sticky tent, it's humid, you can't breathe right, you strip down to everything, and then you don't have anything else to strip down to. I think it's very possible this girl, Amanda, I think it's very possible she got out there, she got to, dehydrating, and started hallucinating, and I think she stripped her shit off. I do the claustrophobic trail, but yeah, brain plays tricks in the extremes, exactly. So if this reporting from Gray Hughes is accurate, then Amanda has been found. But however, I want to tell you, the news itself is not reporting any of this. There is no news stories whatsoever that Amanda Ninniger has been found dead. However, for some reason, even though the real news doesn't have this story, Gray Hughes somehow has this story. Look, it is possible that somehow a YouTuber has this story before the news does. So I don't mean to cast any aspersions on Gray Hughes, but I'll believe it when I see the news story. Currently, it's just one YouTuber that's in true crime saying they talked to the sister. It's not a conversation we could hear. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So he claims she's been found, though. And maybe he's right. What's up, Stacey? How you doing, beautiful? Maybe he's right. So, unfortunately, it looks like the Amanda Ninniger story is going to turn into complete shit. So, all right, we're going to go in. What's going on, my gangster cat? Good to see you, brother. My gangster cat. That's good to see you. It's good to see you too, Stacey. Hope you guys are doing good. So, no, I hope the Amanda story is not true, but chances are it is true. It is. I mean, And here's what's fucked up. She was only 20 miles from town. 20 miles you can walk in one day. However, and here's my issue with this. And this is why, I think a lot of you guys need to learn wilderness training, right? You're 20 miles from town. That's a one-day hike, especially out west. It's a one-day hike. You got a phone with a GPS. So my concern with her is was she on drugs or something when this happened? Like, you're sitting here, your car's stalled, you have a phone with GPS on it. Like, why wouldn't you put the coordinates? Why wouldn't you put the coordinates to get back to town and just start footing it? This chick probably died because she had absolutely no wilderness training. What's going on, Ray? He said, I'm from North Central Florida. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm in Orlando my damn self. Demon Dog says dehydration is the only reason to wander off the road other than maybe a concussion. Gray, I hear you there. No, and I agree. So I think that, it's a sad story, but I think that, mistakes like this cannot be made. The problem is humans are too reliant on other humans. Humans are too reliant on other humans. Like, if I was in that exact same situation, I wouldn't call 911. I would put the coordinates to the closest town in my phone. I would save my battery and I would use that to hike into town. I don't understand why any of you wouldn't do that. Like, I don't understand, unless you're physically, welcome to Florida, JB. I've lived here a few times before, Ray. I've lived here a few times before. But I appreciate it. I love Florida. I always have. I always have. Florida and Georgia, I bounce back and forth from. And then occasionally I'll go out to Vegas for 6 months or a year, which is actually probably going to happen relatively soon. So, well, not anytime in the next year or two, but you get the point. But anyways, no, I don't understand why people get stuck in these situations, man. Just simple survival concepts you can self-teach yourself. I don't understand why everybody this is why I say if the electrical grid went down and people lost their internet and shit, they would be fucked. You know what I'm saying? Because most people here, what's going on? It's me, Michelle. How you doing, beautiful? Hope you're doing well. Most people don't know how to survive in that situation. So this chick got caught out there in that desert, and I just don't think it ended up good for her. So, sad story for sure. And we do got an update on some other shit. Which we will get to here, because we're going to be talking about Riley Strain. And if anybody's here waiting on Kohlberger news, there's no Kohlberger news this morning. I get it. All other YouTubers will make up Kohlberger news. They'll make that shit up. And you guys will probably be glad to see their videos later. But there is no Kohlberger news today. I'm not going to make any theory videos. Talk about the tunnels. Nothing, no weird shit like that. Just letting you know. Good to see you, Michelle. How you doing, beautiful? But, so, I'm sure there'll be plenty of YouTubers. It's Saturday. He good, sick of BK. Well, I like the Idaho 4 story, but there needs to be news. I think, good morning, K-Shay. Said, as I clean the house, good to see you. Here's the thing is, I think that with a lot of these, look, man, I can openly admit YouTube is a job, and I get it. Like, if you run a news channel, or let's just say TV, if you're Fox 59, news at 10, you still got to come with your news at 10 o'clock. So if no news happens, you have a couple of different, what's up, Winnie? You have a couple of different options. You can either take a different angle on a current news story, you can go with more boring news, like I choose to do, or you can just make shit up. In my opinion, a lot of people just make shit up. What they'll do is they'll take a topic and they'll spin it as much as they can. They'll spin it as much as they can just to get content. And, that's on them, man. He's cool, but the theories are a bit far-fetched at this point, the tunnels. Yeah. Well, other than them releasing documents, there's not going to be any Brian Kohlberger news until the trial. other than them releasing the documents every single time there's a new court document. But really, there's not going to be any Koberger news. And I don't want to talk about the goddamn 8 hours anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get it. The bitch didn't call 911 for 8 hours. There's a child missing, and that's effed up, man. What child's missing? You mean Nick Fuentes and Candace didn't do with Batista and the rest of the Wizards? No. Oh, you're talking about, okay. I assume when you talk about child missing, creators are regurgitating old news on Koberger. No, and that's why I say, and I don't, like I said, I'm not attacking no creators. When this Idaho 4 case dies, their careers are over. You know, a lot of people have criticized me for all of my political content, but my political content is what pays the bills. When this Idaho 4 case is over, I'm still going to have a career. When this Idaho 4 case is over, a lot of these true crime channels will not have a career. They will not. And I partially blame it on the audience as well, though. What's up, Marguerite? And the reason I say that is because you can take solid creators and you can see the numbers drop. Let's take Harsh, and some of you like Harsh, some of you don't. Let's take Harsh, for example. What's up, Amanda? Harsh, if you look at his Idaho 4 content and then you look when he does any other content, there's a huge view discrepancy. Which it doesn't mean Harsh is the same Harsh. JB Gunner's the same JB Gunner, whether I'm talking about Idaho 4 or anything else. So who's at fault? It would be the viewer. The viewer only cares about the Idaho 4. And the perfect example, and listen, if you do not believe me, let me show you. And so, I know you guys are always going to watch what you want to watch, but I'm just explaining to you why the regurgitation happens. What's up, Katie? Like, if you look at the Idaho 4s, you know, 4 point, like if you just look at Harsh, and the Riley Strain thing was big, but typically when he tries to go off the Idaho 4, now the Prince William thing is because he's in the UK, a lot of his followers are in the UK, but a lot of times when you get like Amber Spraden, not as many views as the Idaho 4. His Princess Kate stuff worked. But Madeline Soto, 1.9K. Riley Strain, that story went big, 16K. So, but what I mean is in general, a lot of these, then we talked about Drip Drop, 17K. A lot of these smaller stories, and he'll tell you, the audience tends to not watch them. And so, you know, 100%, but to be honest, I'm tired of the BK stuff, but that's what makes him money. No, 100%, you know, you got to go with what your audience wants. I personally don't give enough of a shit because this isn't where I make my money. So I'll talk about what the fuck I want to talk about. Supply and demand, baby, exactly. And so, and that's 100% the truth. 100% the truth. Harsh is going to make and any content creator is going to give you the content you ask for, you want. And so for the people that want to see other stories, I would advise you to click on his other stories. What's up, Snooper? How you doing? Sarasota. Orlando here. Good to see you. So no, I think I'll watch Harsh on what he does. His main audience is from the USA. Yeah. 100%. You don't stop selling bananas when everybody wants to eat bananas. He's 100% right. It's business. It's business. He's 100% right. And that's why I say to the people that want stories outside the Idaho 4, you got to click on St. Pete Beach. Man, St. Pete Beach, you should have do Clearwater Beach, man. St. Pete Beach is kind of ghetto. It's kind of ghetto. A lot of Taiwanese hanging around St. Pete Beach. I'm just saying. Go to Honeymoon Island or something. Yeah, I hear you though, brother. I hear you, St. Pete Beach. But nah, and like I'm not shitting on the audience or nothing. I'm just being. A lot of people won't admit that. No, they won't admit it. But it's the truth, man. You know, if you run a restaurant, let's say you run just a mom and pop restaurant, or Clearwater Beach is stunning. Yeah, I love it. A mom and pop restaurant, or let's say a gas station, you're not going to stock up on items people don't want to buy. That would be dumb business. That would be bad business. You know, a lot of people have asked me over the years, why do you talk about some of the more controversial parts of politics so much, whether it be the racial element, things of that nature? And I'm like, because that's what I do. That's the niche I've cut out, and that's what my business is. You don't go to McDonald's and say, why don't you sell tacos, McDonald's? You know what I mean? Fort DeSoto, I like Fort DeSoto. I like Fort DeSoto, Indian Rocks Beach. I like Fort DeSoto though. Definitely good beaches out there, 100%. Indian Rocks is quiet. I think it's an animal beach. I think you can take a dog there. If I remember right, Indian Rocks. Yeah, St. Pete Beach is a little crazy. I ain't going to none of the goddamn beaches right now. A lot of crime channels are still on the back of summer. Well, yeah. And they're going to. They're going to. Even when there's no updates. They'll make them up. You know what I mean? They will make them up. But like I said, I don't necessarily blame them. I don't blame them. So like Horst said, supply and demand. Supply and demand. All right, so let's move on. We're going to talk about Riley Strain for just a brief moment. Riley Strain, there's a little bit of an update here. And this is actually over the last couple of days. Well, you guys got to remember, I've been off the last 2 days, so I'm going to probably talk about some shit that you've heard about on the channels. Forensic expert raises grim specter that Riley Strain was murdered, as he says the student's pants were likely stripped off by someone else. World-renowned forensic expert Dr. Bill Bass has claimed Riley Strain's pants would not come off by themselves after he was found half naked in the Cumberland River. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. I was in this swimming pool last night. What's up, Just a Mom? That's not true at all. I was in this swimming pool last night, and I went to dive, and I swear to God, my shorts fell. So I don't believe him at all. I went to dive and touch the bottom of the pool, and my shorts just, whoop. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, my shorts just came, like, do you see what I mean? Like, and then that's just a regular person with no current, no waves, no nothing. Just a fat motherfucker in the back in the pool. If me just diving down to touch the fucking ground, my shorts can just, my swimming trunks can just come right the fuck off, bare balls to the whole water. I'm sure a current will pull jeans off. It's a fast moving, you know what I mean? Exactly, KJ. The biggest thing in this case is no water in his lungs. We're going to talk about that as well. Gobbles, what's going on? David sent 25. He said, good morning, JB. Good morning, David. Hope you're doing well. Been there, done that. Exactly. So you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. So going back, hold on. So going back here, let me pull up the chat so I can see what you guys are saying while I'm on this side. If they were wearing, I think they were referencing him wearing skinny jeans. Get out of here. What's up, Paul? All right. So it says, with the 22-year-old student's body was found 14 days after he vanished, initial police reports showed signs of no foul play, but no signs that he drowned. A second autopsy confirmed that there was no water in his lungs, increasing fears that he was dead when he entered the water. Here's the thing. Let me also say this. Gangsta Cat became a member. Thank you so much, Gangsta Cat. Let me ask you guys a question. Has anybody here ever been shit-faced drunk? Has anybody here ever been shit-faced drunk at a river, at a lake, out in the woods? Do you see what I'm saying? Has anybody here ever been shit-faced drunk to the point where you go to piss? Maybe the dude had to take a shit. Who the fuck knows? I think it's very, very possible this dude was so drunk, we already saw him bumping into poles as he was walking. I think it's very possible dude could have went to take a piss and just being drunk, kicked his pants off, took off, maybe he had to take a shit, took off his boots, took off his pants, you never fucking know. And I know that sounds crazy to people, but anyone that's ever been in that situation, you know, remember this dude's in some crazy place. Is it possible that dude went down by the river to take a piss or take a shit? I'm being dead honest. It's a serious question. I know it sounds gross. I know it sounds far-fetched, but I don't think it's that far-fetched. When you're drunk, you're not thinking straight. You're like, man, I'm going to get over here where nobody else is at, down here by the river, go to the bathroom. We saw him trying to walk. It's not even guaranteed that it was the river that took his pants off, but even though the river could. Now, question is, since they didn't find anything else, like any head trauma, the people just did a second autopsy, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Let me make this clear. They didn't say they found like blunt force trauma or anything else. Just a mom sent 5. Thank you so much, beautiful. Just a mom sent 5. Appreciate you. They didn't say they found any of that. Dry drowning, which is a thing, and we'll talk about that as well. For you guys that don't know, let me go ahead and pull this up. Dry drowning is a thing. Listen, dry drowning refers to complications that can arise after a person takes in water through their nose but not in their lungs, causing a spasm that closes the airway. So for all the people saying there's no water found in his lungs, the reality of this is that there doesn't have to be water in your lungs for you to drown to death. Remember when they told you when you was a kid? Remember when they told you when you was a kid that you could drown off a teaspoon of water? Am I the only one that's ever heard this? My entire life growing up, I was told, you know, you can drown off a teaspoon of water. All it takes is a teaspoon of water to drown you. Do you know how? Dry drowning. Do you see the point? Let me pull this chat room back up. My phone's acting goofy. So exactly, we've all been told this. And so to all the people that's like, there's no water in his lungs, his pants are gone.
Are you ready to update your beauty routine?
There's no pants on, blah, blah, blah. There are so many. This is why I say sometimes the truth. There's nothing wrong with investigating. There's nothing wrong with questioning. All I'm saying is, but this automatic assumption that something else is in play when we clearly saw the dude drunk. We clearly saw the dude stumbling. Remember, these are the same people that told us that homeless people had his shirt, even though law enforcement said he had a shirt on when he was found. There would be that river water in his stomach. They know how to test. I'm sure they're going to do it. Kylie Rodney didn't have water in her lungs. The reality, and like I said, I'm not saying that he 100% drowned, but all I'm saying is there's no evidence to point to anything different. But I'm still I'm here to update, and that's what we're going to do. A second autopsy confirmed there was no water in his lungs, and we'll get to that. We'll take a look at that right now.
New details in the death of University of Missouri student Riley Strain. 22-year-old's body was recovered from the Cumberland River in Nashville last Friday, 2 weeks after he went missing during a night out with friends. Tonight, we've learned some disturbing details about how he was found. We've learned he was found without his pants, his wallet, or the cowboy boots that he was wearing the night he vanished.
Now, let's talk about the wallet for a second. They had his debit card right by the river. What's up, Sue? How you doing? He for sure could have just started stripping, man. Hell yeah. You know how many times I've stripped off drunk as shit? You know how many times I've stripped on a stream drunk? Just was sitting here drunk as shit, lost my goddamn mind, but like, fuck it, I'm taking it all off. You know what I'm saying? Good to see you. What's up, Duper? Oh, Duper. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. I always try to consider Occam's razor, right? What's the most likely scenario? What's the most likely action that happened here? You know what I mean? But I will say this, you know, the wallet thing is confusing. And before people say, well, whoever took his pants took his wallet, then why was his debit card found by the river? If I was going to steal your shit, I'd steal, who, like, why, who, do you see what I'm saying? I would be, so I'm curious to know where the wallet is. Is it possible he never took his wallet to begin with? Maybe he left it at the hotel and all he took was his debit card. Probably not, because he's young. He probably didn't want to, you know, he probably thought he might get carded. He probably had it. I wouldn't be surprised if he had more than alcohol in the system. Same here, he's a college kid. Same thing. I heard he had cash too, a lot of it. Maybe. And so I guess the ultimate question is it possible that some dirty shit happened to him? Of course. But right now, I'm not seeing it.
Surveillance video captured.
Yeah, he looks a little sweet. I wouldn't be, no, he does look a little sweet. I wouldn't be surprised if he went down to by that river to do a lot more than take a piss of shit. And if that's the case, maybe he did get robbed or killed. And he gets down there trying to diddle with the homeless dude. You know what I'm saying? Anything's possible. Those wallets are on the expensive side. What's wallet? They, like, you know the type of wallet?
Captured some of his last known steps on March 8th.
Watch him. Look at him. Look at him.
Bar where his fraternity brothers were. They were all partying together there. It was about 8 miles away from where his body was found.
Man, I don't know how to... There's no way he made it to 8 miles. That river had to have dragged him. I'm in my 40s, I pack a leather 3-fold wallet, but kids these days carry currency different. No, 100% they do. 100% I do. They do.
His disappearance mobilized an army of loved ones and strangers alike.
Well, also remember, we grew up with cash. You know what I mean? We grew up with cash. You know, back in the day, when I used to carry my wallet in my back pocket. Do you know why? Because all my money was actually cash and it was in my front pocket. So even if you pickpocketed me, you wasn't getting shit. See, now that there's no goddamn cash, it's a little different. So I carry my wallet in the front pocket. But back a long time ago, when my wallet would be in the back pocket, you could, like I said, my wallet didn't have cash in it. I had a money clip or a rubber band holding my money in my front pocket. I still do that to this day when I have cash, which is rare. His family saying he had a wallet in his front pocket. A picture of his friends that night showed he had his wallet in the front. Did they ever find the pants? I guess that's the question. Did they ever find the pants? Because the wallet's probably in the pants. I used to carry my main roll in my front, right? Yeah, exactly. You know, because you know what? If someone comes and robs you back then, later on, K-Shay, they would just ask you, give me your wallet. Whatever, motherfucker. You can have the wallet. I used to keep my money in my sock, too, sometimes. You know what I mean? Back in the cash days. back in the cab, the pants, I believe, are on the bottom of the river. Yeah. In the video, he obviously smashed, unless they find trauma to the body, the kid probably just drowned. Yeah, I think there's no doubt. Now, I agree with you 1,000%.
Banding together to look for signs of Riley before the search came to a tragic end. A preliminary autopsy found no signs of foul play in his death, but the family is not completely satisfied tonight. They have ordered a second autopsy with even more tests that will potentially give us more insight into what happened. And joining us now, family friend Chris Dingman. Chris, thank you for coming on the show again. I understand that Riley has been returned home. His funeral will be happening on Friday. So we're obviously thinking of you all right now, and I can't imagine how difficult all of this has been. But I want to ask you about this second autopsy and some of the new information you've learned. What's new here?
The family did have a second autopsy, actually in Tennessee, following the Metro Nashville autopsy from a private individual company that does that. The original autopsy come out just like theirs did, with no obvious signs of trauma,
right?
As in weapons, guns or knives.
Look, and I think that is what matters here, because if there's no signs of trauma, that means dude didn't even fall and hit his head. Do you see what I'm saying? My two boys never have cash, drive me nuts. I still roll with cash. No, here's the thing. I hike, duper. I hike. So right now, currently, all I have is a 50. But when I hike, I never hike with less than 200. Do you see what I'm saying? That way, if I need a shuttle driver, a hiker hostel, when I'm actually out and about by myself or whatever, yes, 100%. And I always keep some cash, a very limited amount. No question. I agree with you. But I've also never trusted banks. I feel like a bank can just zero you out at any time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a I'm old school. You know what I'm saying? So that, But yeah, keep emergency cash at all times, because you never know when you're going to need a cab. Or, you know what I mean? I know they don't have cabs no more, excuse me. But you get my point. You never know. You never know. Shit. And you never know when someone else is going to have some shit that you want to buy and they don't accept a card. You never know when another motherfucker is going to have, it could be anything. You know what I mean? It could be anything. And you're like, hey, I'll buy that off you. I got 50. You know what I mean? Does it make sense? Like, you never know. You never know.
Etc. But they were able to do a little bit more testing on specific items. One thing that threw the family for a loop was, the coroner going on record with a news person in Nashville stating about the lack of water in his lungs. It raises more questions.
And I'm going to be honest, there's places in the Appalachians that still don't even accept cards. Y'all know what I'm talking about? And I love those places. You ever go to those like mom and pop gas stations like deep in the Appalachian Mountains or something? And it says cash only? I love those people. I fucking love those people. And they'll have an ATM. And they'll just say cash only. You see what I'm saying? I love the fact that those businesses still exist. Because here in Orlando, let me tell you something. Disney World is cashless. SeaWorld is cashless. Universal Studios cashless. All of these major industries, these major corporations, they're all going cashless. It's insane.
It's, I'm not a crime.
Yeah. You got to check out the Appalachians, bro. It's one of the few parts of America that's still America.
I'm a person by no means, but usually water in the lungs means that, they were alive when they went into the water. So more questions. We hope they're going to get some answers with the toxicology. I just hope that this doesn't get swept underneath the rug, because the family deserves more answers than we have.
What about the boots, Chris? Tell us what you've learned in terms of what Riley was wearing.
That's a great point. Carmichael says, my friend passed out by the river in my hometown and the water took his shoes off. Could have been worse, but it was funny. Yeah. And let's get something straight. Remember, this dude was a thin guy. A strong water current, had he fell in, or had he fell asleep, passed out. You see what I'm saying? On the by the river, It could have taken him. It could have taken him. And so, and it definitely could have ripped his clothes off, man. Like I said, I gave you the example of me in the swimming pool yesterday, just last night. So, anything's possible.
Wearing and what he wasn't wearing when he was discovered.
Riley, we were told, and which blew the family away. It actually went out on social media, and I screenshotted it and sent it to our war room, and was like, "Who?"
I do feel bad for this kid, man. As a drinker, as a drinker, I have to be honest, man. You guys, some of you guys will remember, but I think it was last year. How much did his fancy fitted boots cost? Probably a good amount. But last year, it was like at the beginning of the year, I fucking was so drunk, like I fell. Like once I went off air, I was so fucking smashed walking back to my bedroom to go to sleep. I fell over my chair. I don't remember if I tried to sit in the chair or what happened, but I hit my ribs on something, and it broke my ribs. And so, like, you'd be surprised, and it doesn't happen that often, but people that drink know that, I mean, whether you woke up the next day and you slept with some broad you wouldn't have normally slept with, or whatever, it's just something that it touches me. Like, this dude, just simply drunk, got put out the bar, trying to walk back to the hotel, got confused. The drinking, as much as I hate to admit it, because I'm pro-alcohol, it seems to me like the drink, his drunkenness is what killed him, man. And it's just a drunken mistake that we all make. 9 times out of 10, we survive. And I just don't think Riley Strain survived his drunkenness. You know what I mean? And that's a shame, and it's sad to me.
World is this? Who is releasing this information? Because at the time, certain family members didn't even know about that, which really kind of blew us away. Not sure how they got that information. Once again, one more question. But yeah, unfortunately, the only thing that was found with him, as the police stated in the report, was the watch and the shirt. Everything else was not with him.
So nobody stole his Apple Watch.
Can you describe the boots that he was wearing?
That's another thing. Nobody stole his Apple Watch. He still had his shirt. The fact that his pants were gone makes me really feel like either he had pants that was easily removable, maybe he didn't have a belt on, whatever, or maybe he stopped to take a piss, man. And I know you're thinking to yourself, why would he take all of his pants off to take a piss? I've done it. Or, maybe he did. Maybe he did it so he wouldn't accidentally piss on his own pants. I don't know. It could have been anything. You do some silly shit sometimes when you're drunk.
Because that could end up being significant.
His mother was pretty sure they were Justin's, and they were a square nose style cowboy boot, kind of a flat color. Once again, the jeans were, I think, buckle is what the jeans were. We already knew about the Michael Kors billfold. There's specific things that we've been out in front of this entire time looking for in case this did come up. So we're hoping now that maybe that they will come up so we can get more answers.
So his cowboy boots were not on when he was found, and his jeans were not on, and his wallet was missing. Do you know, Chris, if he was wearing a belt?
Exactly, Gobbles.
That I do not know, unfortunately. But in one of the pictures we went back and looked at, I'd always preach to the boys about keeping their billfold in their front pocket. Just to being in clubs, it's real easy to get pickpocketed.
Right.
And the one picture where the boys are all together outside, if you look in the right front pocket, we're pretty sure that's where he had his billfold. So the billfold should have been secured in his pants. Unfortunately, we don't have those answers right now.
Last time we spoke, you mentioned that police had told the family, this was right after his body was discovered, that there were still some people that they wanted to talk to. We know there's a homeless sort of camp in that area. Had they...
Yeah, hold on. Demon Dog says, I piss a lot when drinking beer, but I never take... And that makes sense. I get it. Let me ask you this, though. Just hear me out. What if you're walking and you're drunk And this is a question that I've never heard anyone else in this community ask. And I mentioned it earlier. If you're walking, you're drunk, you're in some strange city, there's no businesses necessarily right there other than maybe other bars. And you had to, and all of a sudden, you had to take a shit. And you see there's a bank down to the riverbank, what would you do? Now, me as a hiker, I would go shit by the river. And I know this is a weird, gross subject, but I'm asking you guys, seriously, if you're walking down the Nashville streets, there's no like gas station with a bathroom, or maybe there is, I don't know, but you don't know, you're drunk and you're fucked up. And then you're like, oh shit, you get the bubble, you get the bubblies all of a sudden. You're like, I'm gonna shit that exactly. Majority, I know I would, and I think a lot of men would be like, man, there's a good spot down there by the river. Nobody can see me, there's trees. And if you do that, I believe, so you don't accidentally shit on your pants. Because even when I'm hiking, I do the same thing when I shit in the woods. I take my shit, my clothes completely off, my pants, shorts and shit, completely off, shoes off, all that shit. I no longer hang with them, they were not my friends. I agree with you, Gobbles. His shirt was on him. You know, I don't know, man. You know, so in my opinion, I think it's very possible. He was walking and he all of a sudden he had the bubble guts and said, I gotta get down here and take a shit. And then while he was down there, you know, maybe he fell in. Maybe he fell in, is drunk, current got him, and he started kicking off the boots and pants to try to be able to swim against the current. I don't know.
You've been able to talk to those people? Have you learned any more on that front?
See, it seems logical.
We have not been notified. Actually, one of the people of interest, a little bit after an hour Riley was found, I was back at that scene and just happened to see that person. And so we had a group of volunteers that kind of followed the gentleman. We called the police, let them know that we had found him because we hadn't been notified they had talked to you yet, and was told by the police.
Exactly, Gobbles, I agree.
No longer a person of interest. They had somebody else they were interested in. But we know from the homeless people that lived there, that was the person that was supposedly up on the road when Riley fell into the bushes or whatever happened, you know, and he yelled back down that, you know, this was just somebody that had been drinking, it was okay. So once again, a little more confusion. I hope that the ball hasn't been dropped on this. There's numerous people in the video.
What jeans start at $200 a pair? $250 a pair. Does anybody know what jeans he had? I've done a lot weirder shit than that when I was fucked up. 100%, duper. 100%. I've done way weirder shit. Man, I pissed on them. I remember one time when I was young and I lived with my grandparents. I remember I pissed on my grandfather's, you know, chair in the living room, right? Because I thought I was in the bathroom. Grandma walked in, I'm just sitting there pissing on my grandfather's chair. They were like, what the fuck? I've done some silly shit. How does anybody know what jeans he had on? I've never seen any of that in any of this. Maybe I'm wrong. If that really was his credit card, where's his ID? In theory, shouldn't it be found too? Yeah. He had on buckle jeans. They're a lifetime tailor replacement. See, I don't know where everybody, I don't understand where everybody's getting all this other information. I had a pair of Miss Me jeans that were $200. I ain't never paying $200 for no goddamn pants. You know what I'm saying? Ever, other than a suit, other than like dress pants, like suit. Many times I've been drunk. Went to take a piss, someone staggering, your pants fall to your knees. 100%. And then, you know what? And then you trip and fall into the goddamn river and it takes you down and you drown to death. The fam friend said buckle, jeans, Coors wallet. How the fuck would he know though?
Was at the detention center that coincided
it's
with
possible.
the police officer's body cam and a time stamped where they show up on footage still walking north. I strongly believe, and it may just be a love family one knowing that wanting some
Good
more
old
answers.
Wrangler, yeah.
I think there's somebody out there that knows.
Man, I just get Dickies, man. The only pants I typically buy are like Dickies. Just to be honest, $20 every single time, $20 in sweatpants, $20. Dickies sweatpants. That's just me though. I stopped trying to be stylish a long time ago. I stopped being trying to be stylish when I realized I could still get pussy in a t-shirt and a beanie. The moment I realized I could still get pussy in this outfit right here, I said, man, I ain't buying no more goddamn $400, $200, $100 shirts. I ain't doing none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? The minute you realize you don't need all that to get some pussy, there's no reason in the world to do it. I stopped buying rims for cars when I realized I can get pussy without it. I stopped buying systems for cars when I realized I can get pussy without it. Sorry. It's all right. His height, he needed a tailor almost 6'7". Yeah.
Knows what actually happened that night, and we would love for him to come forward, and we need some more info.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to...
Yeah, that picture I just saw just looked like a regular dude with regular clothes on, man. Maybe you guys see something else when you see those clothes. But I'm just, like, when I see it, I just see a regular dude in regular clothes. So, like, there was some homeless dude down by the river. I'm sure he thinks the same way. The kid was blacked out, went to the river to do whatever, and if he took his pants off, boots fell, and maybe some homeless person found the pants, boots. It is possible. Who knows? But to me, it sounds 100% like a mistake. Just a drunken fuck up. And it cost him his life, and that's unfortunate. 100% unfortunate. So, when it comes to the drowning, the dry drowning, it is possible. And everybody's got their theories on all this. Whether it's Abrams, whether it's dickhead Chris Cuomo. And they all keep saying the same thing, no water found in the lungs. And that's fine. But ultimately, in my opinion, when we're talking about this, there's such thing as dry drowning. Why does there have to be some phantom person under the bridge? Exactly, memory. Thank you. When he wasn't even able to stay on his feet and running into poles long before the bridge. Thank you. That's Occam's razor. Logic. That's what that is. We all saw him bumping into fucking poles like a tard. And listen, I've been drunk. I get drunk a lot, bump into poles like a tard. Let's just call it what it is. When you're drunk, you're basically retarded. I know, because I get retarded every day. It's just the way it works. It's just the way it works. Clearly, we saw he had too much to drink. And let me tell you something. There's nothing crazier. And so, hear me out. Guys, if you're drunk, walking home from a bar, what is your number one, like really drunk, what is your number one fear? Tell me the truth. I'm retarded right now. I'm about to be Ozzy. Well, I got a lot of streaming to do, but I'm about to be. Let me ask a serious question. If you're at the bar, you get kicked out. And here you are in a new city, stumbling downtown, walking. What is the number one thing you're afraid of? And this is going to lead to my point with them. One of the number one things I tell lifeguards is the water remove your pants and you can use it for a life preserver, yeah? Now, if I was out in public, stumbling down the street, drunk, particularly in a new town, particularly, man, drunk people don't always think like, he said Tyrone. No. Police. Nobody wants to catch a public and people. That's true. Nobody wants to catch a public intoxication charge. So, is it that hard to believe that he saw a riverbank and said, you know what, I might be safer down here walking by the river so I don't get arrested? Because remember, right before this, a cop had talked to him, a cop had stopped him, a cop had addressed him. So is it possible that after that cop addressed him, he said, oh, fuck this, I don't want, do you see what I'm saying? Is it possible that that cop that talked to him may have talked to him about public intoxication, anything like that? Is it possible that he said, fuck this, I don't want to deal with these Nashville police, I don't want to get a public intoxication, I'm less likely to get caught walking as drunk as I am down here by the fucking river? I know that's what I would have done. That's 100% what I would have done. I would have walked by the river rather than a place where I can go to jail. I'm a block and a half from the bar, and I would not have made it home without my husband there. Exactly. Exactly. Another creator said his friends had his last location at the sheriff's office, which was personnel only, and he's last seen on cops body cam not far from that office. He did seem to sober up. Yeah, it's possible he got stopped, and then he kept walking. He sees the sheriff's office, and he says, fuck this. I'm going down by the river. And I think that's the likely scenario. I know I would have said, why nobody drunk wants to be around cops when they're drunk doing something illegal like public intoxication. Why is the cop on a run about a window being smashed out of a car? You see one guy coming down the street, intoxicated, the cop doesn't stop him and say anything. That just seems crazy to me. That is true, John. I mean, maybe he just didn't do his job properly. Was he using his navigator on his phone to find his way somewhere? No, I do think so, Memory. Here's the truth about that. And I can't remember who I saw covering this. It may have been Horsch. The hotel that he was going to had a name, but there was another. What was the fucking name? God damn it! Excuse me. Let me find this. Google. What's his name? Riley. Strain. That's right. Hotel. Let's look at this. His hotel that he was going to. Hold on, let me see here. I'm trying to find out where it was he was going to. I'm trying to remember. But the hotel that he was going to had a name that was similar to something else that was also there. So I think when he Googled the name of the hotel, it sent him to the other location because he walked the opposite direction of the hotel. Riley Strain Hotel. I don't know why. Nashville. I'm jogging towards River. Got in his hotel. The Tempo. That's right. It was called the Tempo. That's right. The Tempo, if you're looking at exact area, the Tempo, TNT believes that. Who's that? Truth and Transparency, is that what that is? But ultimately, the Tempo Hotel, there was also another thing that was like a I don't want to say a junkyard or something, but it had Tempo in the name. It had Tempo in the name, but and so this other thing was in the opposite direction of the Tempo Hotel. So it's very, very likely that he just put in the Tempo, and it being drunk, and directions he had led him the opposite way. Does that make sense? There you go, Ginger. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just saying that's, in terms of direction. He said, man, I've seen a cop and got suddenly sober. Exactly. So I do think that his navigation could have just been sent. What comes up if we put Tempo in maps? Let's go. Let's check it out. I'm gonna do it right now. All right. I'm just gonna put Tempo Nashville. Tempo. Now remember, he was there, so it would have gave him the locations closest to him, right? Tempo Nashville. Let's see here. It comes up Tempo by by Hilton. But there's also another thing here that's a food place. It says Bluestone Lane Tempo Hotel. I don't think that's the same one though. Hold on, let me see something here. No, it's a cafe. Bluestone Lane Tempo Hotel. I don't think this is the same location as the Tempo. So when I put it in mine, look, if you look right there, you will see Bluestone Lane Tempo Hotel. You see the Bluestone Lane Tempo Hotel. Hold on, let me pull this back up. Tempo. But I'm going to be honest, the first thing that pulls up is, hold on, there's also Your Tempo. Hold on. Your Tempo, look right here. This is what pulls up. Tempo Nashville, but look right here. This says Your Tempo. Your Tempo, which is the one that was right there on the other side. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at where it is compared to the river. Look at Your Tempo. He was walking down that river to get to Your Tempo. I can almost guarantee it. He typed in the wrong tempo drunk and he fucked himself up. Your Tempo was just the other way, right there down the river. So I think that's what he did. Drunk as shit. That's just my personal opinion, so. Yeah, what about? What's the Luke's 32 bridge? What's 301 Nashville? What is that? Tecmo Logistics. I agree with you on 99% of the situation. I appreciate your unfiltered runner, but I'm going to have to disagree about this case in some aspects. He was under a log. I don't think his clothes came. Okay, so what is your theory, Nicole? Oh, and he was rolled under a log by the water. So what was your theory then? There was no blunt force trauma. With all due respect, what's your theory? If you don't believe, like, that you believe something else happened to him just because his body was under a log, and you don't think his clothes could have came off in the water? Just like I said, my clothes came off in the pool out there. There's no waves at all. There's no current. At all. No current at all. I'm back, so I don't know if anyone brought this up, but those cops who invented the smiley face killers must be going crazy. Yeah. I guess that's the question. As you don't think it's possible that, what's up, Gigi? How you doing, beautiful? You don't think it's possible that his body had went under the water, floated back up, and there was under, that the current took him under and then brought him up underneath a log? You don't think that was possible? I think that you're right. He definitely went down by the river to escape the cops, but I do think someone or multiple people robbed him and beat him. Then wouldn't there be, okay, wouldn't there be blunt force trauma? You see what I'm saying? For your theory to be correct, and remember, there's been two autopsies done. Neither one said that foul play looked doable or that there was blunt force trauma. You know what I mean? If there is no evidence of trauma, then that is ruled out. Agreed, Carmichael. I guess that's where I stand. It probably got stuck under the law from current after it washed up. 100% agreed. Yeah, who in their right mind would kill someone and wear their clothes? Well, I think the homeless population saw an opportunity and took it, not necessarily. His mom said she was worried concerning the autopsy. I agree, Gigi. I agree completely. 100%. I just personally, I'm not, there's got to be, for them to have beat him and robbed him, there had to be some sort of trauma. You know what I mean? Robbed him of what? Okay, so are you saying that they strangled? I guess my question is what would be your theory then? How did they kill him? He was in his shirt. All the rumors that the homeless people had his shirt was inaccurate. It was wrong. It was inaccurate. What's up, Roger? If there was a log, that log didn't do any damage. True. True. And I'm not, look, I disagree with you heavily. I'm giving you a chance to give your theory. The beautiful Gobbles sent 25. She said, good show today. Glad I could catch you before I leave for work. Have a great day at work, Gobbles. Thank you so much. The boy was drunk, heavily intoxicated from a small town in a big city, having a good time, went down, take a piss, throw up, trip, fell in the river, unexplained, ripped his boots and the pants off, undertow. I agree with John. John, you're 100, in my opinion, you're 100% right. The belt kind of sus, but pants and can be explained by current. His body would show trauma. Yeah, I think it would show trauma. Unless there's another method that they killed him, which, you know, if it was multiple people, they could have held him down and strangled him. But wouldn't his neck would show? No, his neck. No water in his lungs, which could have happened. It is dry drowning. It is possibly dry drowning. We're going to get to the serial puncher here in just a second, for sure. So ultimately, my take on this is drugs, specifically fentanyl. I guess, and like I said, no insult. I definitely appreciate everybody's got different opinions. However, is there ever an incident? Is there ever an incident where people don't think there's like some malicious conspiracy or malicious people? Do you see what I'm saying? Is there ever a story where people are like, yeah, I'll take that story as is? You know what I mean? Yeah, I believe it was a pure accident as well. I do. I believe it was pure accident. JB, wasn't he found under the barge, not alone? I don't know that portion. Yeah, more often than not, shit happens. That's why Occam's razor comes. I use that phrase a lot because ultimately, the most logical, the most simple answer is typically the answer. It's clearly possible that a homeless man took his boots and jeans after he was dead. That is 100% true, Salty. I agree. Exactly, Gigi. No, 100%. Or those items could still be floating down the river. He might have kicked them off so he could swim, and he couldn't swim. They had to move the log on top of him to see what it was, that it was a body. Yeah. Yeah, because maybe he was under the water and floated up underneath the log. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, to me, I think that's very, very possible. I understand what you're saying. I got to go with the evidence, and not everything is conspiracy. I agree. Accident, most likely, concur. I agree. I 100% agree. At least she's not saying Batista came under the tunnels and did it. You know what I'm saying? At least that's the case. At least that's the situation. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit about Sebastian Rogers. And we'll talk about the New York knockout game and all that shit here in just a second. My first time here, live here. Thank you, G. What's up, Gangsta Cat? Good to see you. We're going to start doing lives every morning. 100%, there's just many things that are concerning. Yeah, I mean, I understand. The electrician lied on his application. What electrician? Who the fuck ain't lied on their applications before? Come on, man. What electrician in what story lied on his application, Luke? And which one of us have not lied on our applications? Serious question. Which one of us here has not embellished some shit on an application? It could be something as simple as you only worked there 8 months, but you said you worked there 12. You know what I mean? I basically was there a year. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? I don't even know what you're talking about when you say the electrician lied on the application. I don't even know what story. What's up, Amanda? How you doing, beautiful? I don't even know necessarily what story you're talking about. For the bars, man, power went out. He couldn't restore power. Total clusterfuck, not the first time. Yeah, no, I hear you there. Yeah, I hear you there. If you don't lie, you must not want the job, bro. But yeah. There's no different in relationships. Baby, I'm going to treat you better than any man's ever treated you in your life. You fake it till you make it. 100%. Yes, JB, you got the biggest dick I've ever seen. That's exactly how you lie, bitch. Exactly how you lie. Good shit. What's up, Harrington? Exactly. And we do it too. You got the best pussy ever, girl. That's the best head ever. Look, Nicole says, let's be real, mom did not leave because she was scared though. They have freedom now. They went on vacation instead of looking for the sun. This Sebastian, that is a pretty dick, JB. Thank you. Sebastian Riley either left on his own accord or maybe some juveniles lured him out, but I don't feel the parents are involved at all. Nope. And you know what, GG? I actually think you might be right. If you're some bad teenagers, bad kids, juveniles, we've seen some of them. We understand they pick on let me try to say this in the nicest way possible. They pick on the, you know what I'm saying? That they do. And once again, like I said in the last stream we did, everybody always points at the stepdads. I think he had more access to the internet than they knew. I think that he was lured out of the house. Very possible. Very, very possible. 100% agree. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to get to this because I'm going to go smoke real quick and fill up my coffee, but I want you guys to hear an interview. And this is an interview from his real father. You may or may not have heard it. And then we're going to get back and we're going to talk about Sebastian Rogers a little bit. It gives me a good time to give you guys something to drink, something to eat. He lied about CPS. So what? We all lie. I lie about CPS too. Guys, let me say this. He lied to who about CPS? He lied to whom? Is what my question is. How do I donate to the tip jar? The links are down below. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. Thank you so much, though. Seth throws amazing shots at the Proud Puts yet in the most classy way. Yeah. I do want to say this. I'm not ruling out that the parents had something to do with this. At all. At all. But what I will say, he said two different things, completely on two different... Yeah, I would lie to you motherfuckers too, because it's none of your business. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if somebody... Let me tell you something. If two true crime YouTubers was interviewing me on something, and I know that they was trying to get me in trouble, do you see what I'm saying? I wouldn't tell you motherfucking shit about my personal life anyway. I wouldn't be upfront about CPS if it's going to change to help somebody. Exactly. If Harsh was to want to interview me for whatever reason, and he starts digging into my personal life, or any of you people do, I'm liable to tell you anything. I'm not gonna, and you can't later on be like, the fact that you lied about your personal life to us strangers on the internet is sus. No, it's not. You're strangers on the internet that don't have any business in my real life unless you plan on sucking my dick. If you have no intentions to fondle my balls, you don't have any right to know anything about my personal life. Therefore, I don't owe a single one of you motherfuckers anywhere any accuracy or truth about my personal life. I'm here to be a podcaster. I'm here to tell you about whatever it is I can do, whatever channel we're on, a different thing. But if you ask me, hey, you ever had CPS called? Hell no. You ever been arrested? Hell no. Maybe, yes, no, I don't know, don't give a shit. It's not your business. And that's the problem I think we have in today's internet, today's true crime community and all this. All these strangers, just motherfuckers on the internet, think that everything's their business. Everyone does. And then they think it's sus if you don't want a complete stranger to know shit about your personal business. JB, what's your social security number? 0304113. That's not even enough numbers. So that's sus. Shut up. Exactly, memory. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, I'm going to go smoke and refill my coffee. I'll be right back.
It's been more than a month since your son went missing. How are you feeling today?
Same as I was yesterday. Just continuing the search, continue looking. I'm not going to give up. Nobody can make me give up.
And where have you been searching? Where do you think he is?
I've been searching everywhere. I mean, anything out of that 5 mile radius, that the initial covered everything there. But there's stuff elsewhere. I mean, we got a lot of territory to cover. And it being over a month, he could be anywhere currently. So I'm searching everywhere.
You, Katie, and Chris had a meeting with TBI today. Did you find out any new information?
Not that I can discuss.
Any progression that might show hope in this search?
Oh, I always have hope. Can't take that away from me.
And how confident are you that Sebastian is alive, and what do you think he's doing right now?
Pretty sure he's probably playing video games somewhere. Nobody's letting him, whoever's got him, they're not letting him see the regular news. They're not letting him surf the internet. Or else he'd know that I'm looking for him. And he'd know that he should actually be trying to get a hold of me. And that keeps me going.
Is there a strong reason to believe he may have been abducted?
I don't know if he's been abducted or if he's just, over at a friend's house. Never know. But I'll know when I find him. I'll know exactly what has happened to him.
And other news outlets were reporting that there were lights seen in the backyard that were caught on camera by a neighbor's video. Is that true?
No. What that was a trash truck. Went through, picked up trash, and when it left, of course it went faster. It didn't have to stop to pick up trash. That's just false information provided by a particular person.
Did the dogs ever pick up a scent for Sebastian?
From my information that I've been given, no.
Did they find anything on Sebastian's cell phone that would, kind of show that he was going to run away or where he might be?
Not that I know of. He didn't have any internet access or anything on there. He had been able to call, text, take a picture, send a picture, use the calculator. That's about it.
Was Sebastian in school on Friday, the day before he went missing?
Yes,
ma'am. Are you, Chris, or Katie, or any of you suspects in this case?
We're not.
Hold on.
Have you been cleared?
Hold the fuck on.
The investigation is still ongoing. We wouldn't be cleared.
Hold on. I find the dad sus. Let me explain why. Maybe he's just in denial. If this was my child, I would assume something violent happened. Listening to him, he sounds like he just thinks he's somewhere playing video games. He admits openly that the boy had no internet. Well, this is why I love it. Thank you, Salty. Listen to what I'm saying, though. This motherfucker right here, and look, I mean no harm to him, but what do you mean that you think he's somewhere playing video games? Like, if this was my child, how long has it been since he went missing? It's been a while, right? Either you know some shit that we don't know. Because if this was my child, let's see here. How long are we doing this? Because the United Cajun Navy ended their search as well. We'll talk about this. How long has it been gone? Since February 26th. Is that how long? Son of a bitch. We are now over a month in. It is now 34 days or whatever. There is no way in fuck. Yeah, the kid's retarded, duper. There is no way in fuck. They might have been tricked into. When I hear him speaking, I think he may think that the kids his age are responsible. They might be tricked into using his phone. But he says his phone didn't have internet. He seems very calm. I agree. He knows a lot we don't know. With 4 private investigators, I'd hope he knows more than we do. 100%, Nicole. But he seems like if this is me, and it's been 34 days since my children went missing, I would assume, especially if they're kind of, retarded, I would assume that they're dead. The last thing I would assume was they must just be somewhere playing video games. Think about how big this case is. You think that if he was at someone's house playing video games as a child, you don't think that parent of that child would say, hey, no, the little motherfucker's over here. Wondering if he made it home after dinner that night. I don't know. I would be causing a disturbance in the town. Exactly. 100%. But he seems confident that this boy, I don't know, man.
Until the investigation's done. But currently, from my understanding, they don't have any information that would attach us.
If we keep watching, he'll explain why he thinks what he thinks. We will.
CPS has gone to Katie's house before. You didn't know about that until this investigation. How does that make you feel?
That somebody somewhere dropped the ball because I was never informed. And I'm the biological father. I have joint physical custody. Somebody dropped the ball and didn't reach out and inform the father, which is me. And I don't understand why the state dropped the ball on that one.
And how did you find out about CPS?
Yeah, but anybody can call CPS. Look, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. When people realize that, with myself, when people realized that swatting me does not work, when people realize that swatting me does not, let me give a shout out to Brian who sent 10. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. When people realize that swatting me didn't work, and you can't see exactly memory, because the point of CPS is to see if there is merit to the claims. This is why when I'm in a relationship, I don't reveal who I'm in a relationship with. Do you see what I'm saying? Because once people realize that swatting me does not work, they try to find out who I'm with so they can, because CPS, the minute they call, CPS has to come. CPS has to come until they close the case. You can't escape CPS. So if some stranger, if Salty Grace decided she wanted to get at JB Gunner, wanted to piss JB Gunner off, she could just call him just to make my life hell. Do you see what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, CPS, you know, a lot of times when you have maybe fraudulent calls, maybe revenge calls, which we see a lot, you know, they're not going to just contact everybody and update them. He was already supposed to move with dad before he came up missing in action. Now that's suspicious. That is suspicious. The fact that there was a custody battle going on amongst these people. That is very suspicious. However, if you want to know the truth, I believe this is just neglect and it led to him walking off into some shit, and I believe he's not alive. And if he's not alive, we then have to ask, well, who killed him? Who killed him? How and why? Because he's not, in my opinion, he's not just somewhere playing video games. In my opinion.
Podcast.
And I mean, how does that concern you, especially with this case, that they might have done something to cause him to run away?
I don't know what that really means, but.
And by the way, that is possible. Let me explain something to you. There are plenty of women that believe that children are so much theirs. Because us as in America, and I don't know about you people in other countries, here in America, for some reason, we act, our legal system, family courts, things of that nature. For some reason, family courts in America act like the children belong to the mother more than the father. And what happens is when women are on the verge of losing their children to the father, women snap. And so do men. But I'm saying women are so used to having their way with family courts and custody. Whenever it doesn't go their way, they snap. It is wrong. Very wrong, Nicole. Very wrong. And it's the truth, though. So it is possible that the mother could have been like, fuck that. If I can't have him, you can't have him. It goes back to the old thing we've heard for decades. If I can't have you, nobody can. You see the point? Son is anxious to go see dad, knows he is coming. Can't wait to go with him. I would ask if Sebastian knew about the custody battle. Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did. You know, there's a lot of people that act like your kids aren't supposed to know about things going on with the facts. I mean, things going on in relationships, but every kid knows. When you fight with your spouse, the kids know. You know, I mean, you can try to act as if you don't argue or yell in front of the kids, but it happens. Even if they're in another room, they hear it. You see what I'm saying? I think kids know typically all this type of shit. Paige says, I read last night that the grandparents took off to Alaska, and when the bio dad done several YouTube interviews, he was all grins like he knew something. Very, very possible.
Just know that I don't have
Damn,
any
Paige.
information.
Well, here in America, 87% of child support and child custody goes to women, which is really strange because when a child is killed by a parent, almost 70% of the time it's by the women, not the men. So typically in America, mothers killed the kids, but yet they get custody almost 90% of the time. Wild world, huh? Wild world.
Is there an official timeline?
But it's all financial.
I know people, there was, we went to bed at this hour, but
It's all financial. The way the state can siphon money from the father is to make sure it's not in the father's custody.
FBI or anyone have an official timeline as to the series?
I'm pretty sure they do, but I'm not involved in the investigation, so I wouldn't have it.
Have the three of you been in contact every day like you were several weeks ago about this?
I was in contact with both Kitty and Chris today, but I've heard he said his phone is open and available. Well, so is mine. You can leave a voicemail. Like 7 or 8 people have already left me voicemails today. I'm going. You know, I get people calling me while I'm on the phone, and it's like, I can't just sit there and answer the phone for everybody. If I did that, I probably wouldn't be able to get out of my house.
There's something weird about. I don't like this.
Over this investigation, I'm sure you've received criticism as well as the Proudfoots. How does that make you feel in a time where you're just trying to find your son?
People are being, well, that goes back to those keyboard warriors I talked about on the first interview that you and I had. They're still at it. They'll never stop.
I agree.
There's cowards in this world, and then there's people who are go-getters. My feet, they're on the ground. They're never going to leave the ground. I'm going to find my son. Period.
And plans, today on moving forward.
His demeanor is weird as fuck, but keep in mind he's a normie. So I'm gonna be honest with you. For normies that don't deal with the internet every day, I understand where he's coming from with that. I do. I do think his demeanor is still strange. It doesn't sit well with me.
Any more resources being used on this investigation, or anything you have to say about that?
The United Cajun Navy is currently sitting down there right now at 90 Volunteer Drive in Hendersonville. 10:30. That's when volunteers need to show up. 10:30. Show up, have your ID, sign the paperwork, and they send people out in teams. When you show up, there ain't nobody there except for a couple people.
What's up, Andy?
That's because they've already sent teams out.
We'll talk about the UCN in just a
Have there
second.
been a lot of volunteers coming out to help find Sebastian?
Today there was, and I want to thank everybody who did come out. We're seeing an increase, and we're going to continue to see an increase. I'd like the whole state of Tennessee to volunteer, and then we'll hit other states.
And you're Sebastian's father. Tell me, what is Sebastian like?
Now, I will say the fact that he wants everybody to help look for his son, that tells me that he doesn't have his son. I do find him awkward, but there's nothing illegal about being awkward. Not everybody is used to talking on camera. So he seems really chill. But I'm going to be honest. Why would he be doing all these podcasts and news, asking for, everybody's help to find the boy if he had the boy hidden? So I do believe he's going to be the innocent bystander here. I do not think the father here is to blame for this at all. He's just awkward. You know what I mean?
Unique child. All right. It's really hard to describe my son.
Well, he's a tard. It's okay.
Being unique.
That's what makes it so, and people can get mad at me for using the word tard or not. I don't care. At the end of the day, this was a mentally challenged child that should have never been left alone, that should have never been given access to walk out the house, none of this shit. None of this shit. So even though I don't think the step-parents necessarily did anything either at this point, there's definitely neglect in this situation. In my opinion, if you got a fucked up kid, and I mean that in the nicest way, like, you have to stay on them constantly. You can't turn your attention from them at all.
Up to no good, or he's up to good. He's just got that uniqueness about him. It's really hard to describe. I mean, he's my mini-me. If he has a goal, he's going to accomplish that goal. People at school, they liked him. All the kids are wanting to know when he's going to come back. They want to help and volunteer. Teachers are they're putting out prayers every day. Everybody, it's coming up. It's Easter. I'm hoping for an Easter.
Why was he going for custody? The same reason every real father goes for custody? because we don't believe the kid automatically belongs to you, the woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I do not ever leave him alone. There you go, John. He's 20 years old. There are different styles of abuse. 100% agreed. You have custody of your son. That's awesome. Chris X, the one with his daughter, spoke on Cluminati's podcast, but then again, scorned women may exaggerate or lie. Yes. Oh, yeah. You never listen to that. What did the X say about Chris? What did the X say? The same thing every woman says. He's abusive. My ex-boyfriend's abusive. They all say it. They all say it. Notice that they never say, and listen, I'm not trying to insult you women, but when's the last time you heard a woman say that the relationship ending was her fault? Serious question. Has anybody ever heard a woman say it? Was a relationship ending ever her fault? Women always say, well, 1,000%, but in many words and tears, of course. Of course. They all say it. They are like, the woman has never taken responsibility for a relationship crumbling ever anywhere on earth. Even if they cheat and get caught, they're like, yeah, but it's because you emotionally abused me and I felt lonely and I needed someone to hold me and caress me and make me feel whole again. Shut up, bitch. Shut up.
You know, I could definitely use it in my life right
Exactly, Duper. Not my fault.
Why
Exactly.
did they search the landfill?
now. No
Exactly,
idea.
Nicole. I hear
They
you.
didn't, not part of the investigation. They're not going to tell me stuff. I am emotionally attached, as any parent should be.
And how often do you meet with TBI?
If I call them all the time. Call, text, hey, any new news? They either let me know or they let me know.
Said he
Are you happy with the work?
said he backhanded his 6-year-old daughter in the mouth. You know, there's going to be a lot of difference in opinions there, right? There are many of you that do not believe that children should be spanked. I came up at a different time, man. If I mouthed off, my grandmother, mother, stepfather, uncle, aunt. When I was a kid, if we backtalked, we did get smacked in the mouth. I understand times have changed and everybody's soft now. But just because a kid got smacked in the mouth doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. And I get it. People are from different countries. They have different mentalities. But I'm just being honest. In a good, strong, conservative type household, there's discipline. I believed about 15% of what Chris's ex said. Everything she said was contradictory. Yeah. And look, not everybody's going to agree with me. But all I'm saying is, there was plenty of times as a kid I got backhanded in the mouth, smacked in the mouth. Shut up, boy. What the fuck you saying? And you can see it now. I'm a grown-ass man and I talk out my ass all the time. Imagine me as a little kid talking the shit I talk now. I was the same way when I was a little kid. Grandma, grandpa, all them motherfuckers. I had my mouth washed out with soap. I got smacked in the mouth, backhanded in the mouth. It was a different time back then, man. We got actually disciplined. Today, y'all would call that abuse and beating them.
That all these agencies have done, or do you think there needs to
There could probably always be more. We just got to figure out what more is necessary.
40 years ago, nobody called it abuse, though.
I'm not unhappy, but you asked me that after my son's back, and it's going to be, I'm happy. All right? Because in law enforcement, it's always goal-oriented.
Exactly, Paige.
Go to work,
Exactly, Glenn.
put a smile on your face, get the job done. I know that they're putting...
He seems to really think the kid's alive, and I'm concerned about that. Guys, the United Cajun Navy ends their search for Sebastian Rogers, and they did it for the most pussy reason. We're getting death threats on the internet. Stop it. These motherfuckers just didn't want to work no more. They just didn't want to work no more. I can't believe it, man. They calls off search for Sebastian Rogers.
Security concerns, the United Cajun Navy is temporarily calling off their search
Exactly,
for Sebastian
Paige.
Good evening and welcome to News 2 Now at 10. I'm Bob.
No, let me tell you something. The way these parents try to punish their kids now, they're like, we're going to take away your $2,000 phone. First of all, what kind of dumb motherfucker is getting their kids a $2,000 phone? But they do. And then that's their punishment. If you're like, their kid can be completely fail in a class, beat up their teacher, come home and they're like, you can't play Fortnite for 3 hours. That's not a punishment. That's not a punishment at all. Take it away for a few hours, 100%. And then the parents today have the nerve to say parents back in my day or the generation before me was abusive. No, you guys are just pussy. I'm going to give you a stern talking to, and we're going to talk about cutting back on your iPhone data. Shut the fuck up. Exactly. That's why teachers are outraged about how the kids are now versus before. 100% true. 100% true.
Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilkes. The nonprofit organization joined the search for the teen missing out of Hendersonville last weekend. But as News 2's Sarah
Exactly,
Smith
Amanda.
reports, the group says
Exactly.
the search has now become too dangerous.
The volunteer group United.
I come from a different thing where you will stand in the corner for an hour. You'll stand in that motherfucker holding your ankles. You know what I'm saying? Like, today's world, they're like, you can't make them stand for an hour. Exactly, $2,000 phone. Swear to God, John, in my house, right now, a step kid, the same fucking thing. 14 years old, still writes with your nose touching the wall. Still writes like his 6-year-old daughter or sister writes better than him. Kid doesn't even know what cursive is. $2,000 phone, which I've taken away. You see my point? Kneeling on rice, yes. Now, I didn't pay for the fucking phone. They came with that shit. You see my point? 100%. So it's funny that you said that, John, because it's the exact same. I swear to God, that's a real life scenario, what you just said, in my real life. Exactly, Paige.
Cajun Navy reportedly getting death threats for their efforts in finding Sebastian Rogers. Sumner County Commissioner.
He said my 22-year-old daughter saw me writing in cursive and thought I was making stuff up. No, let me explain something to you how different shit was. We used to get paddled in school. A whole other motherfucker that wasn't your parents. You'd go to the principal's office. I remember I had this big black-ass science teacher. Just swole. And that was the first teacher that ever paddled me. And that shit hurt. When I was in the, so we didn't just get yelled at. We didn't just get yelled at. We got paddled by strangers. And then they would call your mom and be like, we just paddled, big ass board. Yes. Absolutely. They didn't call and ask. You got paddled and then they called. No bullshit. I can't even understand how these people survive today. Oh yeah, Andy, FBI never gets involved. I get death threats every day. FBI never helps me, so fuck it, I'll just fuck them. I had a science teacher who was prejudiced that paddled the white kids. I say, guys, yeah, me too. Me too. I had to teach my kids cursive because they don't teach it anymore in school. That's crazy. You know what else they don't teach? They don't, ever since they like inserted Common Core into the, like these kids don't know how to show their math. We got whacked on the knuckles by the rulers, yes. Like, these kids don't know how, since when can you use calculators at school? We didn't get to use calculators till we were in high school and we had to have what's called a graphing calculator. Remember that shit? If you used a calculator to solve a math problem in school, you cheated. You're suspended. Now, these kids, they want them to use calculators. They sign their name in normal print. That's bizarre, right? And you know what? They're going to start changing documentation. Because right now, currently, they have signature and then, remember, you know how it is, like if you sign a lease or something. So I guess he's a good point, because Gen Z and millennials don't sign leases. You know how it has you, it says signature, and then right under it says printed name? That's most applications for anything. Most contracts, that's what it is. Our teacher screaming, you ain't gonna have a calculator in your pocket all day. 100%. These motherfuckers get to use calculators in elementary school, and they still don't know shit. These kids have all the information in the world in their hands, and they're dumb as fuck. How easy is it to copy normal print? So dangerous? Exactly. 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 They have no idea how to make change? No. None. These people are, I'm telling you, man, it's the goddamn fluoride, the water plus it's the education system. These little fuckers are dumb as shit.
Schmidt shares his concerns.
I did receive a phone call from Skip Butler a couple of days ago, and he had reached out to me, and as soon as he told me that, that he was getting death threats,
exactly, Luke.
Fearing for their safety, I said, you need to call.
Luke says we got people that can't tell time on a face style clock, only digital. Yeah, no idea how to handle paper checks. None. It is bizarre. And that's why JB in their hands, not their heads. Yeah, it is so crazy. Remember, the 15-year-old, or 14-year-old, last night, because I had him sitting right there doing his homework, right? Because I homeschool and do virtual school with the children now. That way we can travel and do whatever we want, right? And I don't believe in the education system. Now remember, these kids just moved in with me last November. So it's not like I've been with them their whole life. He sat right here, 14 years old, and he asked me, how do I write 1,000? I said, ONE-1000, because I thought he meant, how do I spell or how do I properly write the number 1,000? I thought for sure that's what he meant. Thank you, memory. That's not what he meant. He didn't know. He's like, I said, do you mean alphabetically or numerically? And he said, I don't know, the second one. I was like, you don't know what the difference is between alphabetically and numerically? Like, you don't understand what that is? No, Ginger Hellcat, you got it. Swear to God, you got it. So I'm sitting here and I was like, you mean the number? You want to write the number? And he said, yes. I said, oh, and you should have said Google it, yes. I sat here with my beer sitting in this exact spot and just looked over, and I started fucking like, I didn't know if I was gonna cry or laugh. And I said, okay, well, let me ask you this. How do you write 100? He looked at me and quiet. I said, how do you write 10? He wrote 1, he said 10. I said, but you don't know how to write 100 and you don't know how to write 1,000? Dude, you start driving next year. You start driving next year. I couldn't fucking believe it, man. I could not fucking believe it. It is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. That is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. These kids today, they're dumb as shit. The teachers are not doing them well at all.
Law enforcement right away.
It's unclear who the threats are coming from. United Cajun Navy says they plan to start the search back up, but in private, adding that they don't want certain groups or personalities getting in the way. The group also taking to their Facebook page to share this post, writing anyone that impedes on their search will be a person of interest.
Now, I understand people are, speculating, and I get it. That's just the nature of our society, especially when it comes to social media. But, I would like to see that energy from...
They tried that same thing with the Idaho 4 case. This is how they try to shut people down from talking about this. Remember in the Idaho 4 case when Chief Rye tried to threaten the people that's on, like podcasters and true crimers? Say, we will hold you responsible. This cocksucker just did the same thing. If you get involved, and I assume he means people like me, he's talking about social media, we will consider you a person of interest. Man, suck my dick. Person of interest. These people have lost their goddamn mind.
Speculating diverted to finding Sebastian.
The sheriff's office says they'll give an update on Sebastian's disappearance Tuesday. Schmidt says check with deputies before searching on your own.
I'm concerned of the welfare and the safety of our citizens out there searching. If they search on properties that they just don't have permission to search,
right.
Or if they just, disturb anything or contaminate anything,
right.
Those are the biggest fears.
1 month later, this community hopeful Sebastian is alive. His story even catching the attention of people across state lines.
Gosh forbid he wasn't here, that other states are aware of his missing and are continuing to share the flyers.
In Hendersonville, Sarah Smith, News 2.
Yeah, I agree. Things are going to get worse. 100%. So they have stopped searching. Hunt for missing autistic teenager Sebastian has covered at least 10,000 miles, they say. 10,000 miles? Investigators looking for Sebastian in Tennessee said on Tuesday that they covered somewhere between 10,000 and 12,000 miles in the past 4 weeks. Isn't that the entire width and beyond of the United States? Times like 4? Isn't the entire width of the United States like 5,000 miles? 3,000, 4,000, 3,000? Yeah, it's not more than 3,000, is it? No. Because if I was to drive from right here to California, it's only like it's nowhere. How the fuck did they do 10,000 miles? No evidence outside of the home. Screams he never left. I agree. He said there's a map of the miles that looks like a kid scribbled on a map. That's crazy, man. Said from ponds to homes to woodland, hundreds of people have been scouring the area where the 15-year-old vanished a week ago. 1,500 searchers. 2,000 search miles in the first 2 days. Damn, man. This is wild. This is wild as shit. Dad, by the way, says mom and stepdad won't talk to him now. Now this must have been retracing themselves. Yeah, this is concerning. Why wouldn't the mom and stepdad talk to him?
Okay, so now for more on the search for the teen and the concerns about what may have happened to that boy, we're joined by Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father. Seth, thank you so much for joining us. I'm concerned about this. I'm so sorry for everything you're
like,
going.
Why would the mom and stepfather not talk to him at all? And from the mom and stepfather, don't they present a different story?
Going through, we want to get the word out about Sebastian. Hasn't gotten enough national attention. Sebastian, I want to be clear, was with his mom and stepdad when he disappeared, but you're very close to Sebastian. Do you have any idea what may have happened here?
I haven't been, I don't know. I mean, I got a phone call and a text message that I received after I got off of work stating that I needed to give the stepfather a call. I called him and he was like,
oh shit, my bad.
Sebastian's missing. Don't be upset or anything, but you need to come to the house. I couldn't. I don't know what happened to me.
Everybody always blames the stepdad. As someone that's been a stepdad for a long time to a lot of different kids, I've always found that offensive. But hey.
I haven't seen him in over a month. I've been out here looking for him.
Seth, I mean, what do they think happened? I mean,
Let me grab some coffee.
I mean, could he really have just walked away like that? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. His shoes are still by the front door. His switch was there. His phone was in the kitchen. It just didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and I still can't figure it out. I've been looking everywhere, been handing out flyers, been just trying to keep up hope, and I've reached out to United Cajun Navy to sit there and see if they will help me, and they answered my call.
Yeah, one thing I couldn't understand is why they
What's up,
were
Metalhead?
telling people not to search at one point. I mean, the
Exactly.
shift
Dude wasn't even home. Dude was at work when the boy went missing. Am I right? Stepdad was at work. You know, stepdad or grandparents. But if the stepdad was legitimately at work, how could it be him? Unless you think the stepdad sent someone to go do it. Maybe it was the mom. Remember what I said earlier? Yeah, I don't think the dad clearly isn't paying. Remember what I said? The mom could have very much so been like, if I can't have him, nobody can have him. Stepdad was at work, real dad wasn't there. That leaves mom. So I think the mom snapping the stepdad just helped with the body. Now that makes sense.
went to the landfill. It was this investigation, and they're telling people not to search. I couldn't make sense of that. I mean, it made me want. Do you have any indication that investigators may know that something bad happened here?
They haven't told me anything, and they told people not to search, but I've been searching since that Monday. I can't just sit around and not do anything. I've got to find my son.
I thought so, Paige.
Yeah, I understand. I would be doing the same exact thing as you, and I think everybody around America would be, and their hearts go out to you. Have you talked to Sebastian's mom, stepdad? You mentioned you had that conversation when they said, you know, he's gone missing, but have they been able to give any more information?
I haven't spoken to him.
But was he unemployed from the said job at the time of the murder or the disappearance?
For at least 2 weeks. They're not talking to me.
I could have swore it was confirmed he was at work that day.
There are reports that they have packed up an RV and left the house that Sebastian disappeared from.
To go work,
Any idea why they would do that?
Yeah, they got to go work. That's what he just said.
I have no idea.
No.
Information. They weren't talking to me.
No. He's got to go work and no. I do think the mom is behind this. No. The stepdad has to go work in Memphis. Hold on. No. I know I saw that somewhere. Hold on. Let me. No. And we'll get to the next story here in a minute. Just we'll go 3 hours today. Hold on. So Sebastian Rogers' stepfather, I could have swore he had to go work in Memphis. Yeah. Here we go. Hold on. Sebastian Rogers' mom, stepdad leave home in amid search for son. Sebastian Roberts' parents confirmed they have left their home for work while the 15-year-old is missing. Yeah, they got to go work. The mother and stepfather of Sebastian Rogers, the missing teen, told Nancy Grace they had left their home for work amid the search for the 15-year-old. Appeared on the show, posted to YouTube March 25th, and were questioned by Grace about the night of Sebastian's blah, blah. They addressed rumor they had left the Sumner County home. We were given information that you guys left the home, Grace asked. Is that true? Yes, ma'am, says Katie. Why? I'm going back to work, Chris said. Katie added that she had left the home to accompany Chris while he goes to work in Memphis. See, I was right. Are you concerned about being away from the home while the search is going? Absolutely I am, says Katie. He's got to work. The dude's got to work. I don't understand. Why everybody's acting like it's a big deal? The dude, where's this? This is in Nashville. So he's got to go to Memphis he's not leaving the state. The missing kid is in Nashville. He's taking the RV and going to Memphis to work. I read initially his job was verified and that's why he wasn't asked to take a lie detector test. Exactly, Mad Season. He didn't know if he even had a job left when suddenly they left to go to work. Well, maybe he got a job. Maybe there was a job that came up for him to go do. And that's why he left to Memphis. These people have to be able to still eat, man. They have to be able to pay their mortgage and shit.
I was out here trying to find my son.
Do you feel that they were taking good care of him?
The dude said that his company told him that he's late. Okay, that makes even more sense. If the company laid him off until this is over, then he had to get another job or to take other work, and maybe that other work took him to Memphis. Do you see what I'm saying? That makes even more sense. If the job he worked at in Nashville laid him off until this is over, and some other places you can come get work here. You think about it. In Nashville, he's probably public enemy number one. I would go outside of the city to work too. To me, that makes sense. To me, it makes sense. Nobody in Nashville is probably going to hire him. So you got to go outside, go to where the Tyrones work. They'll hire you. Could be, for sure. They got to work, 100%.
I've got information from podcasts that they were showing that horrified me.
What do you mean? I mean, were they on podcasts or? I'm sorry, I know this is upsetting, but I just want to understand.
They were going on podcasts, and it was like it's supposed to be about Sebastian. They wanted to talk about themselves. I don't get that.
Well, that's because they're suspects, man. Well, Stepdad can work to eat, but he sure doesn't want Seth to have a GoFundMe to pay for his bills, as he doesn't work so he can look for his son. That's a good point. Chris said he will sue Seth if he keeps up the GoFundMe up. That's crazy. Exactly. That's crazy. If that's true, that's crazy. And that, I gotta admit, that looks suspicious to me as fuck. Why would the stepdad? That looks suspicious. Why would the stepdad? That's a deliberate attempt to stop the real dad from searching, from having the resources to search. Now I do feel this. If that's accurate, if what you're telling me right now in the chat room is true, and the stepdad, you got to remember, I don't watch all these other Reddit and YouTube talk show. I look at news and shit like that. So, if what you're telling me is true, and the stepdad told the real dad he would sue him if he kept, well, it's accurate. Where'd it come from? That's crazy. Then if that's accurate, then the stepdad is more sus than I ever thought. He don't want the other side to have the money. Yeah, a lot of men I saw them from Seth's own mouth last night. Oh man, that's crazy. The stepdad himself, oh no, the real dad said it. Okay. Stepdad said on an interview speaking to Sebastian, if he's listening, I don't know about your dad, but we love you. Oh, shit. Oh, that custody shit, that's what this is, man. I bet you that household gets revenue from Sebastian's, you know what I'm saying. I think I just figured it out. That household with that fat woman and that dude, the stepdad and the fat woman, I bet you they receive revenue from Sebastian's, you know what I'm saying? And I bet you, with Seth about to get custody, they didn't want to lose that revenue, so there's a feud. I bet you it all boils down to whatever check they're getting for Sebastian, because Sebastian's mentally, you know, fucked up. This is all going to come down to that. Exactly. This is all going to come down to that disability check if he gets it. Hey, JB, what do you think about them living in a $600,000 house and her working for Brink's Home Security and they have no cameras or security systems? That's a little strange. I had cameras and security systems in, $250,000 homes. But I'm going to be honest, that disability and child support, that is exactly what this is all about. So now I do think it's the step parent. I do think it's the stepdad and the mother. There's a backpack over his shoulder, but look in the background, it's perfect. Perfect image. The floor ain't walked on. Look. No child support between the dad and the mom. Well, I guess the question would have to be, do they get a disability check for him? If they get a disability check for him, that's probably what it's going to be about. The pic you showed of him, he has a backpack over his shoulder. I'll find that again.
We need to get Sebastian's face out to everybody. Have them looking for Sebastian. This isn't about me. It's not about his mom. It's not about his stepdad. This is about Sebastian. He needs to be found.
He was just diagnosed a year.
Have they been searching at all? I mean, I know
Kimberly said he was just diagnosed a year. Okay, Kimberly. That changes. Well, maybe he just now got it. Maybe that's what it's all about on both ends. If he was just diagnosed in the last year, maybe, just maybe, they were starting to get some sort of check, and then dad was going to take him. I still think it could be very possible. I don't know. It's just a theory. JB, the ex Nina talked about how stepdad's family supposedly has money, like money, that they even offered to buy the daycare new playground equipment. There you go. I question that part. So that does check away. Now you're born autistic. It's not something that just happens. Yeah, probably. That's like $4,000 a month if they're working low-wage jobs. That's crazy. Dad said mom kept him in pull-ups, not at a house. I think she's a control freak. Yeah, something's not right. I question it first being that he was going to live with the dad, did not have anything doing with the discipline. I think this is going to be, I honestly believe that that's what this is going to end up boiling down to. You guys, in this episode, you guys have literally got me now questioning the step parent and the mom. Easily the mom. If that mom was raking in any kind of revenue, even if it would just happen in the last year, stepdad fighting for daughter custody, did not want kid around her. That makes sense, Kimberly. Anyone that's ever raised an autistic kid or any kid with a mental illness, they know how hard it is, man. And in the beginning of this entire story, I also said that could have been a situation too where motherfuckers snapped. They're like, we can't do this and whatever. But it makes no sense because they could have just let it go to the real father, right? Bio dad said Sebastian had friends at school, but the mom and stepdad said no one at school liked him. That's crazy. All they had to do was give him to dad. Exactly. That's great. Outstanding point.
But you're out there right now. Have his mom and stepdad been out there too?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. I haven't seen them.
Dad seems legit.
Not been where
Dad
I've
seems
been
legit.
handing out flyers or searching. So I couldn't tell you what they've been doing.
Dad seems legit.
I mean, Seth, you know, I'm glad we have the picture up. He looks like such a nice young man. I mean, would he ever leave barefoot? I know that's something that's perplexed some people, and even people who have children on the autism spectrum have been perplexed by that. Does that make any sense?
It doesn't. It does not make any sense. If he knew he was going to go out walking or
Good morning,
anywhere
Trish.
in the yard or whatnot, he would put on socks and shoes. He had a horrible experience as a child with fire ants. He learned. It's always socks and shoes, or at least something on your feet to protect you from what's on the ground.
Kimberly said, all right. Kimberly said, why did Dad say he was to have him last year, but he gave him a chance to do better when he could live with him? Don't sound good either. That sounds confusing, actually. What's up, Trader? Definitely sounds confusing. Gigi says, devil's advocate. With autism being a blanket label just thrown around these days, accurate, that's true. What if the kid has a behavioral problem instead, like antisocial or conduct disorder or borderline personality? That's also very possible. That's also very possible. Parents also always like to add a label to some shit to make it sound like their kid just isn't a fuck up. You know what I mean? Same thing with like chicks. Whenever you notice how now when we got a crazy bitch, everybody says, she's bipolar, JB. No, that's a moody fat whore. She's not bipolar. She's just a moody fat bitch. But you can't say that. You have to say she's bipolar. She's moody. It's a sickness, JB. No, that's just called being a woman. Same thing, Gigi, with the boys tend to be, you know, boys. But he's autistic. There's got to be a reason he's flipping or he's flying around the house and shit. You see what I'm saying? Well, maybe because boys are hyperactive at that. When we were, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to leave that alone because people like to suck off big pharma and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? People like to suck off big pharma. People don't understand. 75% of America is on psychotropic drugs or on some sort of medication. You don't find that odd? You don't find that odd? All adults involved seem not to be able to handle a kid neither. Know what other household was going on. No excuse. All parties should be more aware. I agree. Kimberly. 100% agree. And some of you people out there, by the way, you know I'm telling the truth, because some of you people got your kids on psychotropic drugs. You know, let me tell you something. One of the first things, and this, I'm going to tell you what I've broken up with women for more than any. When I first meet a woman, if she has her kids on that shit that puts them to, you ever meet a woman, and men, you know what I'm talking about. You ever meet a woman and then she's got kids and what is that shit that they give kids at night to go to sleep? You know what I'm talking about? What is that fucking medication? Anyway, I literally break up with everybody. Because all this is kids not wanting to go to sleep at 8 o'clock. Not wanting to go their bedtime. Because kids, of course, if you give them a chance to stay up, melatonin. Yes. Every woman seems to have their children on melatonin instead of you telling them, if you don't take your monkey ass to bed, you can't play tomorrow. If you don't take your monkey ass to sleep, you don't get to play outside tomorrow, bitch. That's how you handle that. But the women love to give them melatonin. I literally, when I get with a chick, and I'm saying this to you women now, if you have children and you give them melatonin to go to bed, you're a lazy bitch. Every one of you. You're a lazy cunt that doesn't know how to parent. End of story. Now let's get back to work. Mama wanted to get laid, JB, of course. Anyway, that's the truth. That's the truth. Now, back to this.
Thanks so much for watching.
I guess that story is over. Yeah, they're lazy bitches. Of course they are. Of course they are. You know what I'm saying? My granddaughter is on no medication for nothing. They shouldn't be. These motherfuckers start pumping medications into these kids so damn young. Yeah, of course do the hard work. Well, he won't calm down. Yes, he will. Pop him on his ass, put his ass in the corner. But you better calm your ass down. Jumping all over the couch. JB, it must be so difficult dating women with these kids. No, I hate them all, man. I despise them all, man, because they all, listen, and I understand it. Being a single mother is difficult. I 100% understand. 100%. But that doesn't give you a reason to just be a horrible parent. Doping up your children so you can get dick, that's a horrible parental decision. Horrible. I thought the melatonin was just my ex, and I flipped shit about that. My baby girl falls asleep at 10 minutes at my house anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Ain't it really funny? Ain't it really funny how threatening them works the same way as melatonin? If you do not go to sleep, you cannot go out and play tomorrow. Ain't it funny how that works just as good as melatonin? If you do not go to sleep, you cannot, your TV is coming out of this room. Ain't it funny how that works just as great as melatonin? Honestly, she knows when to stop it. It's all about to go to licks. 100%. 100%. It's definitely the case. I'm a single parent. Too many people blame not being able to parent on kids' mental health. Yeah. Better, no side effects. 100% agreed. Can't do jack shit. That motherfucker turns into a priest. We spent way too much time on those particular stories. Guys, I got another stream I got to get to at 11 o'clock. Unfortunately, this is where I'm going. I'll do the P. Diddy update and serial puncher the next stream tomorrow. I got to keep my schedule. I'm already 30 minutes late. Actually, this was only supposed to be 2 hours. We spent way too much time on those two stories, but I do want to say that I put Benadryl on hot dogs every night for the dogs. I would bet 75% of bad kids are just bad parenting. 100%. I agree completely. Thank you, Paige. Hopefully you guys like Coffee and Crime. Now you guys wanted me to start doing lives on this channel, and now I am. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. If you guys like the show, you want to support the channel, links are down below. To everybody that did, I want to say thank you. To everybody that didn't, I want to say thank you for joining us. And of course, it was awesome chatting with you. Thank you for being open to discuss the cases with us. No problem. Good convo as always. And that's the way I do my streams. A lot of people do their streams. I continuously, through the streams, try to interact with you guys as I'm doing the stories. I mean, I figure that's kind of the point of a live show, isn't it? You know what I mean? The entire point, because if I wasn't going to interact with you, I would just do a pre-recorded video, you know? I think interacting, and too many YouTubers only interact with super chats. You can super chat, you can donate, but I think it's weird to only communicate with the people that pay you. I like when people pay me, but I'm not going to make that the prerequisite for us having a conversation. All right, Blind Trader, see you at 11 over on the other channel. Guys, I got to get to the politics world. I love you guys. You guys all have a great day. I'm going to be over there on the JB Gunner Show. Guys, be good, man. Love y'all. I'm out.